With breaking news happening now, this is a Wave News Alert.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kogan. Yes, we're staying on top of breaking news. Fire crews battled a huge fire in downtown Louisville overnight. Look at all that smoke coming from the building on Market Street. More than 100 firefighters had to be called in to try to get this under control, and a lot of roads around that area are closed right now. So a warning if you work downtown. Kathleen Ninke is live at that scene right now with the very latest. Kathleen?
There are a couple blocks still blocked off here, Shannon, at this hour that might mess with your morning commute. But what else you can see from the scene behind me is it certainly is under control right now. They called control on this fire in the early morning hours, but still a large presence and active scene. You see a few trucks, and we've been seeing firefighters climbing around on the roof of that building in the 400 block of West Market Street. At the bottom of that building, Osaka Japanese restaurant. So we know that Osaka was burned in the fire. That restaurant was on fire, and then all the floors above it, the 4 floors above it, though, were vacant. No civilians hurt in this fire, so we can report that, but we do know that a firefighter was hurt, and our cameras were rolling when that firefighter was pulled out of the building. We've heard from the chief that he's doing okay and that these are non-life-threatening injuries, but we don't know the nature of these injuries. Smoke inhalation, a burn, a fall, we're not sure. Still at this hour, there's at least one hose that's going on to the roof of the building. Not clear if that's a little precaution for anything still smoldering. And also we understand that there would be investigators in there at this point because we don't know what started this fire. And so that's the next step. Osaka has to clean up their restaurant, and the city has to determine how did this fire start. It started around midnight. Here we are 6 hours later, things looking a lot better. But that firefighter who was hurt, and those more than 100 firefighters, sure, some of them were on duty at the time, but many weren't. We talked to the chief about what a huge response this was.
Over 100 firefighters total. We've had multiple alarm companies down here, but we've also hit the 3A, 4A, which brings in off-duty firefighters to make sure we've got protection for the whole city.
So they hit the 3 alarm, they hit the 4 alarm. This was a big one. What's still closed right now here at 6:01 a.m. is West Market Street from 4th to 5th. So that's that exact block where Osaka Japanese restaurant is. But what's also closed that might mess with you this morning is 5th Street from Jefferson to Market. That's what's right here behind me. So keep in mind, if you go through downtown or you work in downtown, schedule a couple extra minutes for your morning commute. Here live in downtown Louisville, Kathleen Ninke, Wave News.
Kathleen, thanks. And we're following more breaking news from overnight. A person is dead after a hit and run that happened on the Greenbelt Highway. This was just after 11 last night near Global Drive and a Marathon gas station there. Officers say when they got to the scene, the person had already been hit and died there. Police say the car involved was still there, but the driver had taken off. They're still looking for that person. If you're heading out this Thursday, you see a lot of people have on some jackets this morning, so you might want that.
Yeah, we've been calling it sweater weather, of course, as we are keeping an eye on the cool temperatures across our region. So grab the jacket, sweater, hoodie, whatever you need to stay warm this morning. I know there's plenty of people who are like, I don't need anything for this. And then all power to you. We're seeing upper 40s and low 50s across the majority of our region. Still at 59 degrees, though, at the airport in Louisville, but most of the metro sitting in the 40s and low 50s right now. So everybody needs those jackets. A few upper level clouds drifting on by, but basically it's about the clear skies for today. So that means plenty of sunshine in the forecast. That is going to take us into the upper 70s and potentially for some parts of the metro, low 80s for the afternoon. So layers will be your friend today. Yes, the jacket, the hoodie maybe for this morning, but you'll maybe have to shed that later on this afternoon as we start to warm up. The sunglasses, those will be with you all day. And of course, check that Wave Weather app as we watch those temperatures rising. Also put down the hairspray because we do have another perfect hair day showing up in today's forecast with the low humidity around the area. And we're going to keep that forecast for your Friday before we try to warm up a bit towards the upcoming weekend. Now, in terms of a major traffic issue we have going on, 65 northbound near the Brooks exit in Bullitt County shut down because of a crash that happened there earlier this morning. Crews are working to clear that scene, but you're going to be forced off of 65 as you're heading towards Shepherdsville. So you have to get off of Shepherdsville and then take 61 northbound if you're trying to get towards Louisville for this morning until they get 65 back open. So quite a few traffic issues, of course, going on this morning. Make sure you check the Wave Weather app throughout the day as well, because we have a whole traffic section there to keep you updated as well. Shannon.
Now there's no accountability for our children.
That man making that comment after a JCPS student shot after a fight that started on a school bus. It's just the latest incident in what's been a violent week for students in the district. Police say the fight involved several high school age students. It escalated when the students got off the bus at 24th and Magazine Streets. Now JCPS says they're going to have extra security in the area today, plus extra security at Eastern High School. When officers got to the scene, they found a student and adult both shot. They were taken to U of L Hospital. Police say their injuries are non-life threatening. They did not say if they've been able to identify who was the shooter. Neighbors and activists say this kind of violence, even among children, is all too common.
We need to do more about arming the families and helping the families before the kids get here, because parents are crying for help when they start seeing them go left or right. There's nothing for them if they're not criminalized.
JCPS says they will also have extra security at Eastern High School tomorrow. JCPS says the shooting does not appear to be connected with an incident when a student pulled out a butcher's knife at Eastern High School this week. Here's a picture of the moment when the student pulls out the knife. You can see the student holding the knife up while two other girls are fighting in the hallway. Eastern's principal says in a letter to parents that the fight happened in the hallway after lunch. The letter also says that the students involved will be disciplined according to the student handbook. In previous troubleshooter investigations, we took a look at what happens to kids who bring weapons to school, and we found out for the 2021-22 school year, no students were expelled or placed permanently into an alternative school. Two JCPS students were taken to the hospital, too, after they were sprayed with pepper spray on a school bus. This happened yesterday morning. The district says security video shows it occurred after two adults got on a bus full of Carithers middle schoolers yesterday at an unidentified stop. The adults were waving their arms and yelling at students, and then a student on the bus sprayed pepper spray on some other students. JCPS says the two adults got off the bus. The driver went to the school. About 30 students were on board and 5 were treated. 2 were taken to the hospital.
So we just really want to remind the community that our students emulate what they see from adults. We expect everyone to follow our safety procedures and our guidelines, and everyone to help ensure that our students have what is best for them and are in safe environments at all times.
As for the adults, it's not clear if they will face any charges or why they even got on the bus to begin with. JCPS Security is investigating the incident. There's now a plan in place for the Highview home that was found with hazardous materials inside back in July. Originally, a controlled burn was planned, but now there's a new plan to perform a controlled mechanical demolition. Some of the materials inside the house could be explosive, so burning it might have affected up to 2,000 people who live in that area. After consulting with the Environmental Protection Agency, they came up with this new plan. So what they're going to do is surround the house with shipping containers that are 17 feet high. They'll use an excavator to take off the roof and then the walls of the house, and then what's inside will be scooped up and put into a container in the backyard. Officials say it's not something that happens very often, but some neighbors are still concerned.
We just never know what it was going to be like. Coming home, it was always a surprise. Am I going to be able to get through? Is there going to be an officer telling me, asking me 20 questions just to get to my house?
Due to the circumstances throughout the United States, we can only find that this is a situation that's happened about 8 times from some of the subject matter experts that have talked about it.
Wow, so very rare. The project's expected to take less than a month to complete. They plan to start it sometime around October. Burning the house is still an option, but just as an emergency backup plan. There is no large-scale evacuation plan for neighbors right now, but people very close to that house will be contacted for plans in case of an emergency. It is 6:08, and boy, today is the day more than 100,000 people will flock to Louisville for Bourbon and Beyond. Starts today, goes on through Sunday. Brandi Carlisle's tonight. Wave News reporter Olivia Russell is there at the Highland Festival grounds to show us around. Olivia.
Yeah, Shannon, and it's incredible just driving by, and you can see all the lights, all the tents, and of course the big stages here. It's such a sight to see. So I'm here with Ian, and let's talk about how they transform these festival grounds and turn this into what it is.
Well, over the past couple of weeks, we've seen this place take shape, and really the DNA of this space is certainly festival grounds. As they build it out, you see the dueling stages behind us, you see the culinary stages behind us, and then we have several other spaces that have been brought into fruition each year, bringing something special for the guests.
And let's talk about these two stages right behind us here, because you told me this is something unique to this production, right?
Yeah, Danny Wimmer Presents does an excellent festival, and something that I think is really special is these dueling stages. So you can go in and experience on one stage a performance, and while that's going on, the other stage is being prepped for that next act. So there's limited downtime in the schedule. This allows people to enjoy multiple artists in the same area without having to journey around. So each of us have our own preferences.
Okay, so yeah, you can just kind of stick around and bounce back and forth between the two stages depending on who's on the stage. But real question here too, who are some of our headliners that people can look forward to seeing on these stages?
Well, tonight we'll have Brandi Carlile, we'll have Billy Strings. Each night we'll have somebody different and interesting to experience. I would say check the app for the schedule. We want to make sure you show up on the right day. I know you mentioned earlier Bruno Mars is going to be on these stages. Yeah. So we're all very excited. I think for each of us, we're coming out for a specific act, and we're going to find some new acts we've come to know and love.
And then also, you kind of mentioned it a second ago too, that app. How important is that going to be for festival goers?
I think if you've gone to a festival before, you know how helpful having an app through the festival is.
Okay, well, perfect. We'll keep that in mind, especially for parking too. That's always the fun one to deal with. But don't forget, gates open at 11:30, and I even see it up there on those huge screens. We asked them, we said they're really bright, and they turned them down. That's how impressive this setup is. Reporting live at the festival grounds, Olivia Russell, Wave News.
We're keeping an eye on that forecast very, very closely for today. By the way, if you're heading out there and you're not from the Louisville area, welcome in. We are seeing temperatures getting into the 70s for this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine across our region for today. So things are looking great for Bourbon and Beyond. But of course, for those of you just heading out to work this morning, we're seeing 40s and 50s to start before we get into those 70s for highs with all the sunshine over the next 12 hours. There's a little bit of rain trying to show up for the upcoming weekend. I'll let you know about that, plus the warm up that follows after the break.
Thank you, Tawana. 24 hours of giving. Today is the day for Give for Good, and we are at Slugger Field where Buddy the Bat is busy this morning. I'm not sure exactly what that's about, but Josh Ninke is there live. We're going to check in with him. Also, we're staying on top of breaking news this morning. A huge fire on West Market Street sends a firefighter to the hospital. It happened at the Osaka building with some vacant floors above it. We're going to have more coming up this morning in a live report.
This is Wave News Sunrise.
Good morning. It's 6:15, and this is a big day in our community. It's the 10th annual Give for Good Louisville, going on all day long. So it's a great chance to support a lot of local nonprofits with some donations. And Josh Ninke live this morning at Slugger Field, and he's been introducing us to some of the groups that you can help. Josh.
Shannon, I've got another great group to introduce you to. This is Dawn with Louisville Fencing Center. So I know we saw you just battling it out with Buddy just a minute ago. Tell me a bit about what you guys do, and maybe give me a bit of demonstration of what you got here.
Sure. Well, we do a lot of things. We have been doing fencing in the city of Louisville for 30 years. Fencing is an Olympic sport. You have three weapons. You have epee, you have foil, and you have saber. All of them have different functions. Foil and epee, you basically score with the point. Lee Kiefer won in foil. She started at LFC, and she is very good. So she learned how to hit in the torso with the point.
Yeah.
In epee, it's the whole body. I can hit you in the face anywhere. Saber is the best one because literally you just hit above the waist, the hands, the arms, and the head, and it's the fastest.
And that's the saber is what you got right here.
That's the saber what I got right here.
That's so
cool.
And
so we teach in schools, you know, Right now, we are in 8 schools. We have been doing this for a while. The center has been around for 30 years. So for us, we just want to be able to lower those barriers for a lot of young kids who would like to try this sport and to get them involved. Because right now we have an epidemic of kids not being able to be physical. And fitness is key to anything you do. Mental fitness as well as bodily fitness.
We're running a little bit out of time, but I wanted to ask you one last quick question about, you mentioned wheelchair fencing. That's such a cool thing.
Wheelchair fencing, we have a program. Maestro Lestowicki, who was the former coach, has retired. I'm the new head coach. That's where we train people to be able to fence in a chair. The Paralympic team, he ran for years and found it. So we actually have students come down. They are differently able, and they do all 3 weapons, and they can do it, sitting down, point, head, anything. And one of our favorite sons in town is Sean Shoemate, and he is excellent, and he's also a referee now, one of the top in the country, and with the FIE.
Very cool. So another one of the great organizations that you can help out with your donation today, going all the way through essentially midnight tonight. You can find more information at wave3.com, including a link that'll take you right to the site that'll help you out there. And once you stick around, another great organization coming up in the next half hour. Live here at Slugger Field, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Look forward to that, Josh. Thank you. Meteorologist Tawana Andrew here right now, and we have perfect weather for everything that's going on right now.
We really do, and I'm just going to knock on the green screen that it stays that way. We need to keep this beautiful weather with all the amazing events we have going on. Looking into Corydon this morning, it is quiet, it's calm, it is cool to start off the day. Corydon, you're sitting at 48 degrees. Same thing for those of you in Frankfort. Good morning. 46 in E-Town and into Litchfield. In the metro, sitting at 59 degrees at the airport, but most of us in the metro, by the way, upper 40s, low 50s right now. Humidity low across the region for this morning. We are all in that pleasant category, which means, yes, you can put down the hairspray. You don't need as much gel today. That humidity, not really a factor across the region. Plenty of sunshine expected as we have the clear skies already across wave country, with high pressure still in control of our weather. All the clouds staying to the south. We're not really talking about much moisture for today. So the sunshine is going to be able to do its thing, and it will help us to warm into the upper 70s and low 80s for our highs this afternoon. Light wind across the region as well, and that does bode well for the Gaslight Festival Parade. If you're heading there for this evening, it is going to be amazing. Initially in those upper 70s and then falling down into the 60s as the evening wears on. Then eventually overnight will fall right back down into the 40s and low 50s for our overnight lows. So yes, you will need those jackets again as we roll into your Friday morning. Speaking of tomorrow, seeing plenty of that sunshine, highs returning to those upper 70s and low 80s. Looking ahead to Saturday, things looking a little bit warmer. Going to try to get into the low 80s. And for those of you heading to the Lou City match on Saturday, looking pretty good. 70s initially once you're heading out maybe to the fan zone, and then once we get into the evening hours and that match is wrapping up, hopefully Lou City gets a win. We'll be talking about temperatures tumbling down into the 60s. We'll have to keep an eye on another system approaching Sunday. This will bring some more of that rain back into the forecast, mainly talking about some spotty showers showing up for portions of your Sunday. We'll have to keep an eye on how much of these clouds linger throughout the day on Sunday, because that could have an impact on how warm we get. But overall, in terms of rain chances, not talking about anything widespread or heavy in the forecast, at least for right now. So we'll continue to monitor that. Further into next week, we'll warm right back up into the mid-80s by next Wednesday. So the last few days of summer looking a tad toasty as fall begins as we roll into next weekend. We'll see another system trying to bring us a little bit of rain and some cooler temperatures. We'll have a whole lot more of sunrise after the break.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $4.8 billion in grants and scholarships.
Well, Bourbon and Beyond starts today, goes on until Sunday at the Expo Center. So some closures in that area. Phillips Lane from Preston Highway to Freedom Way will be closed until the end of the month. All I-264 ramps to Phillips Lane will be closed from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. today through Sunday. The I-65 southbound ramp to Crittenden Drive will also be closed Thursday through Sunday from 10:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. All these closures will be the same too for next week when Louder Than Live takes over the fairgrounds Grounds. The Foo Fighters and Weezer headline the first day of the event next Thursday, and then Friday it's Tool and Limp Bizkit. Saturday, Avenged Sevenfold, and then Green Day and Queens of the Stone Age will close out that festival on Sunday. Louder Than Life also at the Highlands Festival grounds at the Kentucky Expo Center. Meteorologist Tony Andrew here right now, and I was just joking with you. You said today, put down the hairspray, and I said, I will never do that.
She's like, I will never. Yeah, I understand that, but you can break. Let it rest.
No.
It needs a vacation. The humidity's low. It's okay. It's okay. You can put it down. We're seeing that low humidity around, by the way, for the rest of the week. And we're going to kind of just rinse and repeat the forecast for today. Highs near 80 degrees, low humidity, plenty of sunshine. Same thing for tomorrow. Extra clouds on Saturday with a cold front getting closer. This will try to bring us a few spotty showers come Sunday. And then Monday, it's about some slightly cooler weather behind that Sunday front. Temperatures returning to the mid-80s by the middle of next week. And by the way, fall begins at the end of next week, and it looks like the weather will actually cooperate with the calendar this time around.
Wow. Okay, so also fall meet kicks off tonight at Churchill Downs, and track officials are getting fans focused on Kentucky Derby 150. Yep. Yesterday, the track gave us a look at their newest renovations at the paddock. By Kentucky Derby 150, there will be room for 2,400 people there. That's more than double than what they used to be able to have there. That's not the only new change this season. Beth Bungert is now the new safety steward for the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission. She's going to be in charge of checking on the welfare of horses as well as riders, the integrity of racing, and compliance with horse racing laws and regulations. Races at Churchill Downs start tonight at 5. It's 6:26, and coming up this morning on Sunrise, a firefighter sent to the hospital overnight battling a huge 4-alarm fire downtown. We'll tell you how that firefighter is doing and what you can expect if you work downtown this morning, because a lot of the roads in that area are closed.
With breaking news happening now, this is a Wave News Alert.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kogan, and let's get to that breaking news right now. Fire crews are still on the scene of what was a massive fire in downtown Louisville overnight on Market Street. It took more than 100 firefighters to fight this, and several roads are closed nearby as a result, and a firefighter was also injured battling this fire. Wave News reporter Kathleen Ninke is live there this morning with the very latest. Kathleen?
A lot to follow on this breaking story, Shannon. Osaka Japanese restaurant had only been closed for less than 3 hours when this fire broke out. Now, they're on the bottom floor of this building behind me, the 400 block of West Market Street. But that fire went up all 5 floors. So I'll step out of the way where you can see what the scene looks like now. Still a few trucks out here. On the other side of that building, we still have a hose coming down on the roof. But I want to rewind the scene to what it looked like at midnight. This call came in at 11:50. 2 minutes later, Louisville firefighters were out there. They ended up hitting the 3-alarm and the 4-alarm, calling in firefighters who weren't even on that overnight shift. They had a huge response to this. And what we understand at this point, Osaka Japanese restaurant was closed. We don't have any reports of any other civilians hurt. But we did have that firefighter injured that you mentioned. So we had our cameras rolling when he was rolled out on that gurney. The chief tells us he's doing okay. It was non-life-threatening injuries, so he should be fine. But we don't know the nature of the injuries at this point. Was it smoke inhalation, a fall, a burn? We're not sure. We'll keep you updated on that. And we will keep you updated on the traffic situation this morning, because as the chief told us, they'll be out here for a while.
No, this will be an active scene, and this will still be, we'll be here all night. We'll be here through the morning. So certainly, yeah, this area is going to be difficult for commuters in the morning.
Specifically, what's closed right now is West Market from 4th to 5th. That's the block where Osaka Japanese restaurant is. Also closed is right behind me, 5th Street from Jefferson to West Market. So those are those two little short bits of street closed, but if you commute downtown, you know how annoying it can be for even little blocks of space to be closed. I'll send things in to meteorologist Tawana Andrews. She can show you on the map exactly how you'll need to get around this mess this morning, Tawana.
Yeah, because some of those spots are pretty well traveled. If you know the Mercer building, basically right next door is where this fire happened earlier this morning and overnight. So, of course, as she mentioned, multiple streets blocked, 5th between Jefferson and Market between 4th and 5th. So that means if you're trying to get around this area this morning, potential detours for you, Main Street, Jefferson Street, and Liberty in the other direction will be your options. On top of that, we have even more going on. First, we have 65 North near mile marker 120. That's still shut down because of a crash that happened earlier this morning. They're still working to clear that scene. Your detour for that will be hopping off at either exit 116 or 117 on 65 northbound and then taking 61 to try to get towards Louisville. In the other direction now, we have another crash on 65 south. That's going to be next near exit 121. So that's at Brooks Road exit. Starting to see some delays in that area. No word on any injuries involved with either of those crashes, but we're going to continue to try to get more information as sunrise continues, and that's something that we'll be watching throughout the day. Your temperatures in the 40s and low 50s for this morning, so a cool start, needing the sweater, the jackets for this morning, especially for those kids at the bus stops. Also seeing some low humidity across the region for today, and so in terms of our what to wear forecast, the jacket, the hoodie, the sweater for this morning, then that sunglasses, and then maybe the jacket just to look cool as we head into the afternoon with temperatures warming up to near 80 degrees. So layers may be your friend as we continue throughout the day. Maybe shed one of those as we get into the second half of the day. I'll talk about the warmer weather coming our way for next week in my full forecast.
Thanks, Tawana. The United Auto Workers Union will perform targeted strikes if a new labor contract is not made with GM, Ford, and Stellantis today. The companies and the union have until 11:59 tonight to reach a deal. The president of the UAW, Shawn Fain, says the companies did offer pay increases. Ford's the largest at 20%, but Fain called the offers inadequate. The union wants a 36% pay increase along with a shorter work week of 32 hours. Fain did not give details on which plants are being targeted with the potential strike. He says it gives the union maximum leverage at the bargaining table.
When we say our union's back in the fight, we mean it. It's not just big three members taking action, it's several other sectors. As all these members will tell you, the UAW doesn't back down from a fight. We're willing to do what's necessary to win justice by any means necessary.
He said it's still possible all 146,000 UAW members could walk out, but the union will begin by striking at a limited number of plants. Lawmakers have proposed an audit of JCPS, citing multiple issues across the district, everything from safety to transportation to teacher salaries. Now new this morning, we're learning what the next steps might be and how JCPS is responding. The Office of Kentucky Auditor Mike Harmon says right now they're reviewing that request, spearheaded by Representative Jason Nemes. They say they've requested documents of recent audits for the district, and their next step is to meet at some point with legislators who requested the audit. They said there was no timeline for a decision. JCPS said in a statement they've been transparent about all audits in the past. They say, in part, instead of forcing JCPS to spend money on this audit, the legislature should prioritize investing in our schools directly to ensure quality education for all students. They claim lawmakers are distracting from the work going on in schools every day with this. Meanwhile, Nemes and JCPS Board of Education member Corey Shull spoke about the path for success for the district students yesterday at the Louisville Forum. Nemes says the recent bus disaster at the start of the school year is just the tip of the iceberg and says the district is facing multiple issues. He points to weapons found in schools and poor academic performance.
When Marty Pollio comes to Frankfort, he talks about important issues. He talks about diversity and inclusion. Those are important, but those are secondary. The primary things are school safety. That's number one. We're not serious about school safety. I hope there's a question on about that. We are not serious about school safety. And academic achievement and performance is the second most important thing. And that's not on the list that I hear about when they come to Frankfort. 21% of our African Americans are reading on grade level. That's a red alarm event.
Vice Chair Corey Shull pointed out that the district has its own police force along with a plan to install weapon detection systems.
JCPS has fashioned its own police force. It has developed its own safety policies, and we've even gone further than what Frankfort has insisted that we do in installing weapons detection systems, which will go even further to ensure that our students are kept safe.
Nemes is saying that he's proud of the new schools the district has added. Shull said he was proud of the collaboration with Frankfort about the bill on literacy. The J-Town Gaslight Festival Parade is tonight, and they will have a very special Grand Marshal this year. LMPD officer Nicholas Wilt and his mother will serve as the Grand Marshals. They will be in a car. They're asking people to come out and wave to them. They say it's okay to cheer, but they're asking for no loud popping noises. Wilt is recovering at home after being shot in the head, responding to the Old National Bank mass shooting in April. The parade starts at J-Town Commons Shopping Center at 6 o'clock tonight. And today's the start of Bourbon and Beyond, a 4-day music festival bringing in some huge names. Gates open at 11:30, and Olivia Russell is there live at the Highlands Festival grounds at the Kentucky Expo Center. And I was just looking at that list of all of the acts, so many, but even Wayne Newton is coming tomorrow.
You know, Shannon, I feel like there's someone on the list for everyone to check out. I've been saying it all morning. Bruno Mars is my guy, and that's Sunday night. But I'm here with Jamie because there's a lot that goes into this. 4 days for this, but it's a 2-week stretch for you all.
Yeah, today kicks off the 8 biggest days in music in the United States, and it happens right here in Louisville.
Okay, so what does Bourbon and Beyond include? Because it's not just music. We've also got food and bourbon.
Yeah, we have our 2 main stages. We have a bluegrass stage, and then we have a culinary and bourbon stage. So there really is something for everyone. Plus, we have so many activations and experiences for fans to enjoy between sets, between bites, between drinks. So it's going to be an unbelievable 4 days.
And who are some of our headliners here? Because like I said, I pointed out Bruno Mars, but other people are looking at other acts.
So tonight we have Brandi Carlile, who played last year and just blew us all away. We knew we had to bring her back this year as a headliner. Tomorrow night we have The Killers, we have Duran Duran. Looking ahead, we have Wayne Newton. Looking ahead to Saturday, we have the Black Keys, the Black Crowes, the Avett Brothers, and then Sunday we close it big with Bruno. It's one of the only places that you can see him outside of Las Vegas, and it's right here in Louisville.
That is awesome. Okay, now if people are coming out here today, maybe tomorrow or any day this weekend, what are some things they need to know before they head out here?
Yeah, we ask that everyone who's coming out just be prepared. Go to bourbonandbeyond.com. We have an informational page that has everything you could need to know. We have parking information, ride share information, as well as what you can and can't bring into the festival. And it really just spend a couple minutes there to get prepared to ensure that you're going to have a successful visit here at Bourbon and Beyond.
I think it's going to be successful just because of the weather. We've got a win here so far.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with this 2-week stretch, really. It's day one. So don't forget that gates open at 11:30 today. Live at the festival grounds, Olivia Russell, Wave News.
Thank you, Olivia. And as you're heading out today, just make sure you have that jacket for this morning as we're sitting in the 40s and 50s, the sunglasses for all day long, because we will see plenty of sunshine as we climb into the 70s today. And by the way, I was looking at that lineup for today. Mavis Staples, a name I didn't think that would be there, but that looks fantastic. So make sure you're having fun if you're heading out to the Highland Festival grounds. Now, of course, we're going to be talking about some heat trying to come our way. Let you know when after the break.
It is time for the biggest day of online giving all across Wave Country. It's Give for Good Louisville going on right now, and you can help support hundreds of local organizations. It's an important day. Josh Ninke live this morning. He's at Slugger Field. He's been talking with a lot of different groups, and this one involves the four-legged members of our community.
Exactly. We've got another great guest for you. We've got River and Elaine with Paws with Purpose joining us today. Elaine, tell me first off just a little bit about your organization and all the work goes into training these service dogs.
Yes, well, Paws with Purpose is a local organization that trains and places assistance dogs and facility dogs for the community, the metro area. And it takes us about 2 years to train a dog. They're trained at the women's prison, the Kentucky Correctional Institution for Women, Monday through Friday. And then we have volunteers that take them out on the weekend to socialize them and get them used to all the things that they can't get at the prison.
Like coming out to Slugger Field.
Coming out to Slugger Field, getting on an elevator, getting in and out of a car. And our dogs are placed with adults and children with mobility issues, children on the autism spectrum. Some of our dogs go to facilities and work with professionals in a healthcare setting. So they could be in a hospital, they could be in a private practice, they could be in a rehab center working with that professional.
We've only got a little bit of time left, so folks who are looking to donate today, if they donate to y'all, what does that mean for you?
It means a lot because there's a lot of expense that goes into training a dog and placing a dog. And anybody that donates today, if they show that they have donated, then Parlor Pizza will give them a free appetizer other than their 20-piece wings. So it's at any of their locations, and we'd love to see you all out there. We'd love to reach our goal of $15,000 today.
A great goal, and you can go to giftforgoodlouisville.org. We've also got a link for you at wave3.com to make it nice and easy. This is going all the way through essentially midnight tonight. Go ahead and please help all these great organizations that we've got here. So live here at Slugger Field, Josh Ninke and River, Wave News.
Thank you.
River's absolutely adorable. We're keeping an eye on what will be a beautiful sunrise showing up on our SkyTrack camera. We'll talk about that, plus, of course, that small rain chance showing up for the weekend in just 30 seconds. Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Tawana Andrew here with a check of your forecast and a beautiful sunrise behind me. We'll take a closer look at that in a second. But in terms of our weather headlines, pleasant sunny days still in the forecast for a little while longer, and we'll even see some more of those cool nights showing up, including some more of those 40s for many of us. As we get towards the weekend, there is a tiny rain chance trying to show up, and we'll keep a close eye on that, of course, since we have so many events going on. But for those of you planning your day, Ryan Hoke likes to call this my bougie closet. Hey, you're gonna need the jacket, the sweater, the hoodie today, one or all of the above, whatever you need to make sure that you're staying warm for today, especially the cool start that we're dealing with. And don't forget the sunglasses as well in terms of your what to wear forecast, because we have so much of that sunshine in our forecast again for today. So let's talk about the sunrise that's behind me. Take a closer look at that from Simpsonville as the first little bit of sunlight is coming over the horizon. A beautiful start to the day. Your temperatures are sitting in the 40s and the low 50s, like I mentioned, ranging from 46 degrees in Seymour, Campbellsville, and into Columbia to 50 in Carrollton, Eminence, Shelbyville, Bardstown, and Fort Knox. Across the metro, we're mainly sitting in those upper 40s and low 50s as well. And then the icing on top of this cake, everyone is in the pleasant category in terms of our sticky meter, which means humidity is very low across the area for not just this morning, but through the entire day. Looking at a satellite and radar, hey, not seeing much going on, just some upper level clouds drifting on by, and they're just going to add some pizzazz to the sunrise for today, and that is it. We're watching most of those clouds staying to the south as high pressure still in control of our weather. So over the next 12 hours, here's what we're going to be looking at. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s for most of us with the sunshine and that northerly wind, that northeasterly wind. But for portions of the metro, we could see a couple of low 80s trying to show up here and there, but overall, most of us talking about 70s for today, which is good for the Gaslight Festival Parade. Later on this evening, if you're heading to that, you can see those temperatures falling from those mid to upper 70s initially down into the 60s as the night goes along. So for today, pleasant with those highs near 81. And then once we get into tonight, falling down into the 40s and the low 50s with those clear skies. So a fantastic day just across the region. Tomorrow, we repeat that same forecast, copy and paste it onto your Friday. Saturday is when we'll see some extra clouds rolling in, a touch warmer for the beginning of the weekend as we see a cold front approaching our area. Now, this will try to bring a little bit of rain once we roll into portions of your Sunday, but overall rain chance is still looking low. We'll monitor the clouds to see what kind of impact that has on our highs on your Sunday. While we start off next week cool with those highs mainly in the 70s, we'll see some mid 80s showing up by the middle of next week, and then as fall begins to towards the following weekend, it looks like we'll see another front moving and then helping to bring in some cooler air just in time, of course, for the fall season to come our way. We'll have more of Sunrise after the break.
Well, we're following some big stories this morning, including that 4-alarm fire that happened overnight in downtown Louisville. A firefighter was sent to the hospital who was battling it. Wave News reporter Kathleen Ninke kicking off your Wake Up Watch list right now with the latest. Kathleen?
Shannon, I'm here in downtown Louisville, and behind me is Osaka Japanese Restaurant. That's where firefighters say the fire happened. But Osaka's on the bottom floor, 4 stories up. All of those are vacant. So this is what the scene looks like right now. Still some firefighters on the scene, one hose going down on the roof. And we know that investigators are inside trying to figure out how it started. We rewind the scene a little bit, and you see those flames. You see the manpower that they needed to fight this. More than 100 firefighters called out, and one of them ended up injured. Our cameras were rolling when that firefighter was rolled out on a gurney. We're not sure the nature of his injuries, but we do know he's okay. That's what the chief says. These were non-life-threatening injuries. We'll keep you updated. Osaka would have been opening at 11 a.m. today. Unclear if that will happen at this point. Live in downtown Louisville, Kathleen Ninke, Wave News.
Thank you, Kathleen. And more than 100,000 people flocking to Louisville for the start of Bourbon and Beyond today. It's day 1, goes through Sunday. Wave News reporter Olivia Russell, they're live this morning. Hi, Olivia. What time do the gates open?
Hey, good morning, Shannon. Yeah, 11:30. I know people who are heading out here already have that ready to go. But hey, day 1 of Bourbon and Beyond. It's a 4-day music festival with headliners including Brandi Carlile, who will be taking the stage. We have the Black Keys, the Killers, and then my personal favorite, Bruno Mars, will be here on Sunday night. Again, gates open at 11:30 today. But before you even come out here, you'll want to know some things like what you can and can't bring and details about parking. Good news, they have that all for you laid out on their app and online. And if you're still curious, maybe thinking about buying tickets, they still have some general admission tickets available online, or you can get those here at the gate. Reporting live at the festival grounds, Olivia Russell, Wave News. Now let's send things over to Josh Ninke.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Olivia. I've been highlighting different organizations that you can help out with Give for Good Louisville Day. I want to show you just how easy it is. Just go to giveforgoodlouisville.org. You click donate, and it takes you to a way to search through the 550 different organizations that you can help. And these are local organizations in southern Indiana and here in the Louisville area and Kentucky area. It's a great way to help out these folks who need your donations. And there's lots of different matching hours throughout the day, different ways to extend the donations you have, and even if it's just a little bit, that matters. That makes a difference to folks today. Well, we'll have all that information for you at wave3.com. This goes all the way through tonight. Giving started around midnight, goes till midnight tonight. So we've already seen about 3,000 gifts given. I want to see you guys be a part of that too today. So live here in Louisville, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Thank you, Josh. Keeping an eye on the roads and, of course, the skies for today. By the way, if you're heading downtown, remember, because of that fire, we have 5th between Jefferson and Market closed, as well as Market between 4th and 5th closed downtown. So this is near the Mercer Building. Potential detours, Main Street, Jefferson Street, and Liberty Street for you. Also, 65 southbound still shut down near mile marker 120 because of a crash that happened there earlier this morning. You're going to have to hop off of 65 northbound at exit 116 or 117 and take 61 to try to get towards Louisville. Also, another crash in 65 south near exit 121. That's the Brooks Road exit, so we'll watch that. A beautiful sunrise showing up on our SkyTrack camera this morning. Grab the jackets. We're seeing 40s and 50s across the region to start the day, and over the next 12 hours, going to climb all the way to near 80 degrees for a high. And yes, you can put down the hairspray. Do not worry about it, Shannon. It is A-OK.
You know that's my comfort.
I understand. It smells really good. Your hairspray smells really good, so keep doing it.
Today's show's up next. Have a great day. Tomorrow's Friday.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more. All for free with Wave Now. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and the Wave News app.